Racist cop assaults black teen in public. Then her father arrives, and all hell breaks loose. The air was thick with the stench of injustice, and 16-year-old Aisha's scream sliced through it like a blade. She wasn't just a girl. She was a spark, and today, that spark was about to set a city ablaze. It started on a cracked sidewalk in downtown Oakland, where Aisha, her braided hair swinging with defiance, walked home from school with earbuds blasting Kendrick Lamar. She didn't see the patrol car creeping behind her, didn't hear Officer Daniel Holt's boots hit the pavement until his shadow loomed, cold and heavy, over her shoulder. "Hands up now," Holt barked, his voice laced with venom. Aisha froze, her heart hammering. She'd done nothing but exist as a black girl in a world that too often saw her as a threat. Holt, a stocky man with a buzz cut and a badge that gleamed like a taunt, shoved her against a brick wall. Her backpack hit the ground, spilling books and dreams. "You deaf?" he sneered, gripping his baton. Aisha's eyes, wide with terror, locked onto his. "I didn't do anything," she whispered, voice trembling but unbroken. The street wasn't empty. Phones came out, recording as a crowd formed: shopkeepers, kids, an old woman clutching her groceries. Murmurs grew to shouts. "Leave her alone," someone yelled. Holt didn't flinch. His baton rose, and Aisha braced for the blow, her body tensing against the rough brick. But then, a roar cut through the chaos, a voice like thunder, raw and unyielding. "Get your hands off my daughter!" Malik Jackson, Aisha's father, stormed through the crowd. A towering man with a barber's steady hands and a heart forged in loss. He'd buried his wife to cancer 2 years prior. Aisha was all he had left, his reason to breathe. Seeing her pinned, her face twisted in fear, snapped something deep inside him. The crowd parted as he advanced, his work boots pounding the pavement, his eyes blazing with a father's fury. Holt turned, sneering. "Back off, or you're next." Malik didn't slow. "You touch her again, and you'll need more than that badge to save you." The air crackled, electric with rage. Holt swung his baton toward Malik, but the father was faster, grabbing the officer's wrist and twisting it back. The crowd erupted, some cheering, others screaming for peace. Aisha, tears streaming, broke free and ran to her father's side, clutching his arm. "You're all the same," Holt spat, his face red with rage as he yanked his arm free. "Animals." The word landed like a bomb. The crowd surged, phones still rolling, capturing every second of the officer's venom. A teenage boy threw a water bottle, missing but igniting more shouts. Sirens wailed in the distance, closing in. Aisha's voice, small but fierce, rose above the din. "Why do you hate us?" she demanded, staring Holt down. The question hung, unanswered, as the officer's face twisted in contempt. Malik pulled Aisha behind him, his voice low but seismic. "You don't get to break her. Not today. Not ever." He wasn't just fighting Holt. He was fighting a system, a history, a world that had tried to crush his daughter's spirit before she could even grow into it. The crowd chanted now, no justice, no peace, their voices a tidal wave. Holt, outnumbered, stepped back, his hand hovering over his holster. For a moment, it seemed blood would spill. Then, an older woman, her gray hair tied back, pushed forward. It was Mrs. Carter, a retired teacher who'd taught Aisha in 6th grade. "Enough!" she shouted, her voice cutting through the noise. She stood between Malik and Holt, fearless. "You, officer, are the problem. And you," she turned to Malik, "protect your girl, but don't let this hate consume you." Her words landed like a bomb and a blade, calming the crowd just as backup officers arrived. The new officers, wary of the cameras, restrained Holt, who muttered curses under his breath. Aisha clung to her father, her sobs muffled against his chest. The crowd didn't disperse. They stood vigil, their phones now tools of justice, live streaming the truth to the world. Mrs. Carter knelt beside Aisha, whispering, "You're stronger than this moment, child. Don't let it define you." As Holt was led away, the crowd's chants softened, replaced by a heavy silence. Malik looked down at Aisha, his calloused hand cupping her face. "You're my heart," he said, voice breaking. And I'll burn this world down before I let it hurt you again. Aisha nodded, her eyes still wet but fierce with a new resolve. She wasn't just a victim. She was a survivor, a voice of force. The street, littered with Aisha's spilled books and a splintered wooden bench, bore witness to the clash. On that bench, scrawled in bold marker, were the words, "Justice denied ignites fury." It wasn't just a sign, it was a promise. The videos spread online, sparking protests, hashtags, and headlines. Holt's badge became a symbol of shame, and Aisha's face bruised but unbowed became a beacon of resistance. In the days that followed, Malik and Aisha stood together at rallies, their hands clasped, their voices joined. The city listened, not because it wanted to, but because it had no choice. Aisha's question, "Why do you hate us?" echoed in courtrooms, on news channels, and hearts. It wasn't just her story. It was the story of a people, a cry for humanity in a world too quick to dehumanize. Mrs. Carter's words lingered, too. Hate could consume, but love fierce, protective, unrelenting could rebuild. Aisha, with her father's strength and her own fire, chose to rebuild. She spoke at schools, organized marches, and wrote her truth, her words sharper than any baton. The city didn't change overnight, but Aisha did. She became a spark that refused to be snuffed out, a reminder that even in the darkest moments, humanity could rise. And Malik? He never stopped watching over her, his love a shield against a world that still had so much to learn. Thank you for listening. If you find it interesting, please like and subscribe to follow the next stories.